who's happy to spend time on your own, you still have some need for social contact and will get lonely if it isn't met at all. Loneliness can really eat away at your happiness and sense of self-worth. It's demoralizing to unwillingly spend that fifth Friday night in a row by yourself. The good news is it's relatively straightforward to learn how to make friends. So much so that if you lack the knowledge of how to form friendships, you may see some results right away once you learn the skills and start applying them. If you're somewhat able to manage your shyness and carry on a conversation, then you should be able to use the ideas in this section to improve your social life. When one source or another gives advice on how to make friends, they approach it in one of two ways. The first is to focus on developing positive personality traits that would make you a more appealing friend, being a good listener, being loyal, etc. The second is to explain the practical, actionable process of meeting people and forming relationships. This book's previous section on conversation skills covered the first approach, so this part focuses on the learnable, repeatable tactics. People who are good at making friends tend to unconsciously follow the concepts this section explicitly lays out. The basic steps to making friends. The basic steps for forming relationships are: 1. Find some potential friends. Chapter 25. 2. Make plans with those potential friends to hang out. Chapter 26. 3. Once you have some budding friendships, gradually take those relationships to a deeper level. Chapter 27. 4. Repeat the above steps until you've made as many friends as you'd like, whether it's a handful of close relationships or a giant group of buddies. People who have trouble with their social lives usually stumble on one or more of these steps. This list seems simple, but the next 3 chapters go into detail about each point. Some things to keep in mind as you try to form a social life. As with tackling anything you're not good at, the process of making friends will be easier and more pleasant if you go into it with the right mentality and expectations. Know that being lonely doesn't mean you're deeply flawed. Lonely people often see their sparse social lives as a sign of how broken and unlikable they are. Loneliness is usually just a symptom of a lifestyle and set of social habits that are not conducive to meeting people and forming relationships. Everyone has the potential to go through a lonely patch if they don't carry out the behaviors that will let them make friends. Someone who was well-liked and socially connected in their hometown will be lonely in a new city if all they do is go to work and then head home to watch TV. Growing up, many people fell into their friendships without knowing how it happened, and they aren't sure how to deliberately create a new social circle from scratch when they're in a different environment. Being lonely isn't automatically a sign that you have a horrible, off-putting personality either. There are plenty of annoying individuals who have big social circles because they're good at the specific skills for making friends. There are many pleasant, interesting people who are more isolated than they'd like to be because they're not as proficient at those same skills. Trying to make friends doesn't make you lame, desperate, or needy. Many people want to improve their social lives but worry that actively pursuing friendships means they're desperate or groveling. That's not true. It's more of that emotional reasoning. Because you feel desperate about something, you think it is desperate. For more on that, see Chapter 5. There's nothing pathetic about trying to make friends or taking an interest in others. It's an everyday thing that confident, sociable people do. Even if the rare person does see you as desperate, you have to take the attitude that it's all about you and you'll do what needs to be done to form the relationships you want. Who cares if a handful of people think you're a bit too eager along the way if it all eventually works out?